Here it is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. We're going to be talking a little bit about trading today. So, in terms of erring on the side of caution, I am going to go ahead and just put up the disclosure. Trading involves risk. Make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. All right. So, a couple of things. First and foremost, here is my daily result. Did not have a great day today, but as I've kind of reset my my standards, 300 is my daily max loss. And as soon as I hit 300, I'm out. What you're seeing here is on the Sim Sniper. That is basically the leader account from which all the evaluations will follow. So you can see here they're not always going to be consistent. Obviously, that's just going to have to do with fills because of the copier. What you're seeing up here, the Sim 101, that's just that's just a little something I'm kind of playing with. That's not going into any sort of evaluation. Kind of been horsing around with this for a little while, but not really putting a whole lot of attention or stock into it. So anyway, you can see where we stand on the evaluations. Down 320-ish. Looks like 315 to 325, pretty much across the board. So, this is actually a step forward for me. Last week, I absolutely had a little bit of melting down when I was down. Actually managed to keep my cool today for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I had any sort of... Let me get this off the screen. Whoa! There we go. All right. So, so at any rate, I went back through and I actually put together a formal trade plan. I'll probably be doing a little bit more cleanup on it, but as soon as I kind of have it pretty clean and tight, I'll post it in terms of transparency. And so you guys can see. So the whole point to all of this is, look, I'm on a path when it comes to trading. I'm going to tell you right now. You guys saw yesterday. I'm doing some coaching. I'm doing more of a trader coaching, not a trading coaching. I am certainly not in a position to coach anybody on trading. But what I can offer are the strategies that will enhance and develop every facet of your life to include your trading. So for me, what this has meant is that, yeah, I'm absolutely still on the path. Nobody is going to be a great trader just like that. Some of us already have really certain aspects within us that make it easy for us to progress. I have absolutely been fighting with some challenges that I have in this arena. Some of them stem from, my 25 years ago experience. Some of them are just facets of who I am and things that I really have been working on developing within myself. So for me to stop at my appointed stopping point, that was big for me. In fact, not only did I do that, but I actually had a little bit of a discrepancy. There was an arguable, there's an argument to be made that I did not hit down 300 on each of the accounts. In fact, if you look at the pre-commission, I was down like 290, 295. The reason I even mention this is because there is a part of me that at one point would have absolutely used that as an excuse to try to come back from this deficit. I mean, it would have been a ridiculous argument, but that's the whole point. I've been making some ridiculous arguments that have led to bad decisions that have kind of screwed me up in terms of my progression and development. So what I want to share with you today is just a little bit of the foundation of what I have been working on within myself and what I would be working on with you should you choose to work with me in this capacity. And the first is the basic fundamental of everything that I do in terms of coaching is that we live by a code. So the whole foundation of the code is to stop fucking lying. Now, we're all liars. Let's face it. There's always that, everybody's kind of got their different boundaries, I suppose. There are some of us who will just lie about anything and everything, really with no reason, no regard for. I mean, there's just no moral compass that says tell the truth. I don't feel like I'm that person. I don't really feel like I've ever been that person. But I've definitely known some people who, in my eyes, kind of seem like they fit within that capacity. Then we have those that are the other end of the extreme who literally the only time they will lie is if their wife looks at them and says, does this dress make me look bad? Or does this dress make me look fat or whatever? Now, I'm not saying your wife looks fat. But in those situations where it's those little, do no harm lies, that's the other extreme. But when it comes to this code has the really what it boils down to is, tell the truth in, as it, well, I mean, just tell the truth, but there is the capacity of real, raw, relevant results. So real is basically is speaking the facts. We all have a tendency to confuse the facts from time to time, and oftentimes this comes from applying the feelings to the facts. This has definitely happened with me. My feelings about being down $300 today could have skewed the facts to say, hey, I'm only down like 290, 295 on these accounts. I haven't hit that threshold. Well, that's not really the facts. The facts are that I'm down 320, 315 to 325 per account. But my feelings are that I want to come back from this. I want to push forward. I want to prove that I can make this up. The problem is that desire is what generally causes me to make bad decisions. So, got to get real about the facts. Raw is where those feelings will apply. You have to apply the feelings. You just can't apply them to the facts, right? So the code stems to let's get raw about our feelings about the facts. So it's not, well, I feel like this is not quite 300. The reality is hey, this upsets me. This bothers me that ultimately after a day of trading, I'm down $300. These are brand new evaluations. I really was wanting to get off on the right foot, and I'm kind of pissed. So that is getting real about, or getting raw with my facts, raw with my feelings. Excuse me. Relevant is really what brought me to this point. Why am I at this point in my progression as a trader? And I can tell you right now, there's a handful of reasons. Number one, as I was going down this road, it was very, very important to me to be able to prove to you guys that I could trade. In doing so, I proved to everybody that I could not make those good trading decisions. That very deep-seated desire to present something exceeded my desire to be a good trader. Now, I am actually a pretty good trader. When I am operating in the right capacity, I do pretty well. Which is why I took the time this weekend to sit down and really rehash my trade plan and ensure that I had all of the factors in place that made it real easy for me to see, am I following my guidelines or am I not? And so I followed my guidelines today. I shut it down once I exceeded that 300. At the end of the day, commissions are factored into those numbers. And if I don't factor them in, I'm not being truthful. And then ultimately, the last piece of the code is the results. Ultimately, my results today were that I'm down over $300. My long-term results are that I want to get these evaluations passed. I want to get into my PA status, and I want to start earning some payouts before the end of the year. To get to that level of result where I desire to be will require me to change the facts that have been in play the last couple of months as I've been continuing to develop through this process. So that's really the first foundational piece. And when I start working with somebody, it's very, very important that they be willing to be very real about their facts, their feelings, the relevance, and the results as they stand now and the results as they want them to be. Without those pieces, we're basically living in a fantasy world that does not put anybody in a position to improve. So when I start working with somebody, I ask some pretty tough questions. And a lot of times these questions don't feel like they have any relevance to trading at all. The thing is that they do. But my goal isn't to teach somebody to be a better trader. My goal is to help somebody have it all. Improve the quality of their physical well-being, their health, their strength, their wellness, to improve their level of connection to self and something more, the quality of the relationships, the important relationships in their lives, and the business and connection to money. So it all comes into play. If you don't think they're interconnected, go have a fight with your wife and then immediately open up your charts and start trading. If you don't think they're connected, you haven't had this experience. And if you've had this experience, you're lying to yourself. And that's where we get right back down to the code. So in the interest of the code, I will be showing my daily results if I've traded. If I haven't traded, of course, I'll share with you that I have not traded for the day. But this will be a part of my daily communication on here. The other thing is, one of my commitments that I've made to myself is a wake-up time of 4:30. I don't like getting up early in the morning. In fact, this weekend, over the course of the long weekend, I napped twice. I haven't napped, and I couldn't even tell you how long, but I had, I slept in the middle of the day, I think on Friday for like 2 hours, and on Saturday for like 3 hours, or Sunday. I can't remember what the days were. Anyway, yeah, I guess it was Sunday. So yeah, so a lot of this has kind of caught up with me, and it's made it a little bit more difficult for me to get back on that cycle of getting up at 4:30 in the morning. Not to mention my bedtime is not exactly as consistent as I'd like it to be, because one of my other commitments is going to the gym in the evenings, and I go to the gym with my wife, and her work schedule has been a little bit inconsistent, and we've been going to the gym anywhere between 5 p.m. and like 7:30 p.m. When you get to the gym at 7:30, then you come home and cook dinner and everything. You're not getting to bed by 9:30. It's just not going to happen. This should be a temporary issue, because starting next week, it looks like her schedule should be wrapping up at 4:30 every day, which will get some consistency to that and hopefully will help me along in that process. But one of those commitments is that I get up at 4:30, that I don't snooze it. Now, I've been pretty solid, even considering the exhaustion and obviously the fact that apparently I've just decided that I'm going to sleep during the day now. Not really going to be doing that, but it happened this weekend twice. So I snapped a picture of my watch this morning as I got up. The alarm goes off at 4:30, so usually if things are moving well, you'll see the snapshot somewhere between like 4:31 and 4:33. If you see like 4:40 or beyond, it means that I snoozed and I started the day on a fail. Doesn't mean that the day is lost, and I'll be the first to say waking up at 4:40 in the morning is nothing to be ashamed of, aside from the fact that my commitment is 4:30. So that said, you will see me posting that as well. Look, I'm not bragging. This is not my way of saying, look at me, I get up at 4:30 every morning, and if you want to be a successful trader or in anything else that you want to do, you got to get up at 4:32. It's not that at all. I will tell you, it took me a couple of years plus of living this way before I got to the point where I was waking up at 4:30. It did not make sense for me most of that time. It's gotten there now, and I'll tell you the reason that it's gotten there now is because at every step of the way, my commitments have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So as I went through this psychological issue's not the right word, but when I was really feeling like, can I really be a coach to these men? Without my results being where I want them to be in trading, what I came to is my results physically and my commitment have gone through the roof. I am not the same guy I was even 6 months ago. My commitments and my follow through, spiritually speaking, I'm not the same guy as I was 6 months ago. My marriage is nowhere near what it was 6 months ago. So my answer is yes. And just because my trajectory had a deeper start than any of you guys, I've always made the comment of like, if you start at ground zero, if you started January 3rd like I did this time, and you're at ground zero, and you're, whatever, this is your trajectory of growth and development. I started at like a -10, or depending on how you want to put the scale, -100, whatever. I had a lot of issues that I had to work through before I could even get to where I am. And while I may not be as far along as some people, my trajectory is steeper simply because of all of the work that I do. It's just taking me a little longer to go through and get through a lot of the stuff that a lot of people just never really had to fight through when they started their trading journey. So this is not me bragging. This is simply me showing, and of course holding myself accountable to the way that I live. Because if I'm going to guide you, I have to live this way myself. And I have been for quite some time. I'm not going to say I don't falter, and quite frankly, you'll get pictures of my wake time, 440 plus. I mean, gosh, I had one. I've been doing this for a little while on my personal page. I had one where I think it was close to 6 o'clock in the morning, which again, for a lot of people would be stellar. For me, that was like 2 hours, hour and a half, almost 2 hours later than I had committed to be. So really and truly, it boils down to, look, as a coach, I'm never going to necessarily tell you, you need to do this, 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 and this. This will always be specifically based around what your goals and your trajectory is. So anyway, all of that said, I was really hoping for a green day to start this all off, but I didn't get one. But what I did get was a win in my follow-through. And I'm going to take that win, and I am going to roll with it today, because tomorrow is a new day, and we will be back at it. So, if you are interested in having a conversation about all of this, shoot me a DM on Facebook, GAC Trading Pro, or facebook.com/GAC Trader, because I jacked up my name on that. Can't seem to get it back. Or shoot me an email at support@gactradingpro.com if, in fact, you have trouble finding me on Facebook there. I don't check YouTube or Twitter, X, whatever, as frequently, so I just don't want to miss that. So either via email or Facebook will get to me quickly. We will actually have a coaching session. If you want to do this, see what a coaching session looks like, and if this is something that will fit your needs. And if it is, then we can have that conversation. If not, no harm, no foul. I'm not here to pressure anybody into anything. I'm here to help people as the best I can. So, as I mentioned yesterday, I will be working with 5 people on a one-on-one basis, and the fees will only be on the on-demand, the on-demand basis. Small, short-term, introductory thing that I'm able to do right now, because the biggest thing for me right now is to have the opportunity to work with some people and develop some case studies. So if you want to be my case study, guess what? I'm going to work really, really extra hard to make sure that it looks really good. So all of that said, happy Tuesday. I appreciate you guys. I love you all. God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.